All right, let's get into the MLB considering a 6 inning minimum for, and I'm gonna share with you the parameters of it so everybody can see what it looks like. So this is what the MLB is considering for a 6 inning starting pitcher requirement. So they have to go 6 innings unless they are injured, they've given up more than 4+ earned runs, or throw 100 pitches. 100+ pitches, sorry. So those are the 3 parameters that you can take your pitcher out if one of those 3 have happened.
So for the record though, just this isn't something that like is very close to being put in. This is just an idea that's being kicked around
Right.
at the moment.
Right.
This is not like
it's not set in stone.
No, not even close. I mean, these are just ideas that are being kicked around. So just for that.
Right. So this screams to me that MLB wants to do away with bullpen games. They want to get rid of the opening pitcher. The opener is what they call it. They don't want the guy to come in for 3 batters where the other team sets their lineup to that starting pitcher, and then they bring in the opposite-handed guy, and now you got lefty versus lefty the rest of the game. It takes away the baseball strategy, but to me, that's what this is screaming, is what MLB wants to do, is like, let's not do the openers. If you have injuries and you can't fill out your rotation, bring up a guy from AAA. Give me a start.
I don't know. It's probably that. I think they probably, I was reading something earlier today about it, and it's like, I also think it has something to do with like, I think baseball wants to make like a starting pitcher a big important position again. Like when we were growing up, like it was like, you knew who was throwing, I mean, like you knew every 5 days you knew. And it's like when you bought a ticket to the ballpark, like you knew who was starting. It wasn't like a last minute, we're going to have Brennan Bernardino for an inning, and then we're going to go to Cooper Criswell for 3 innings. And then, we're just going to – you didn't have that. I think they want to make – I mean, if we're paying all this money for starting pitchers and they're making the annual dollars that these top-end guys are making, like I think they want to make the position itself of starting pitcher an important position again. I don't know. I've gone back and forth on whether or not I like it. I don't know.
I mean,
I like the premise of like, if you're a starting pitcher, like you have a responsibility to your team, to your fans, to your organization to get out there every 5th day and give what you got. But I don't know. I mean, like, it's a whole different, it's going to be like, it's going to be hard for some of these younger guys, man, that like are kind of max velocity guys as starting pit. Like you're going to have to, it's like the whole, how you approach everything is going to be different. You now have to like pitch towards contact. Like, how am I going to last through 6 innings? Like, how am I going to make my way 3 times through a lineup? Like I can't just be like a 1-2 pitch guy where it's like max velocity, get as many swings and misses as you can, kind of max out for 3 1/3, and then we just turn into the rest of it is going bullpen.
Is this gonna turn into some NBA flopping where it's like, oh, I tweaked something in my forearm, like I'm done, and then be like, oh, well, I mean, I'm good. You know what I mean? They're gonna find loopholes around it if it gets implemented, but they will.
They'll have to come up with a thing like if one of those 3 things there is injured, right? That top little asterisk. Like they'll have to put something there. Like if you come out prior to a 6-inning requirement for injured, like you have to have a stint on an IL or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Because if you don't though, Nick, you're going to have exactly that.
Oh no. I agree.
It's like, they're going to have to backstop it somehow.
Yeah.
I'm so out on this. I don't even want to get into the conversation about it. At this point, you should take the managers out of baseball, have AI fill out the lineup card and make the pitching changes later in the game, and just call it what it is. Let's make it a video game, because this is ridiculous. If you can't manage a pitching staff and a rotation, then why is a manager even there? You just took away half of his job, is managing the pitcher through the bumpy stretches. You don't need a pitching coach anymore either, because it doesn't matter what I tell you, you got to stay out there until you get either lit up or hurt. It's dumb. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I'm 1,000% out on it.
Yeah, and honestly, like on average, when's the last time you've seen a guy make it 6 innings without throwing 100 pitches?
Well, I mean, Blake Snell last year won a Cy Young, pitched 5 1/3. Like, what does that do to a guy like that? So does he? I mean, are you leaving him out there to just like muscle through innings? Like, because although he's at 100 pitches, I guess you can take him out. But like, it's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard MLB talk about, and I couldn't be more out on this concept.
Yeah. Taking out the fourth inning and MRI machine
right?
in the fifth to confirm.
Yeah. They should just bring the scanning device out to the mound. Do a portable X-ray or MRI on the arm. Make sure they're hurt. Yeah, it's just it's dumb. And you're right, Sean. It'll turn into a game of like, oh, my fingernail's broken, I can't pitch. Like they're gonna come up with all kinds of reasons why they got to come out, and it's gonna turn into a freaking circus.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's we're so far off from this. Like, there's a legitimate chance that this doesn't even get past the initial stages. But this couple stats here I saw on ESPN this morning. So starting pitchers in 2014, so that was 10 years ago. In 2014, starting pitchers averaged 5.97 innings per start, so just under the 6 innings. This season, so 10 years later, that figure is down to 5.25. So it's almost a half inning down. And even in AAA, it's 4.3. So you're going to have to switch the way that this is done from the lower levels up. This isn't a Major League Baseball problem. This is a baseball. I wouldn't even call it a problem, but this is what baseball. This is minor league thing too.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it's doable. I don't even know. This sounds like something that someone was upset that they had the over 5.5 strikeouts from a starting pitcher and he pitched an inning and now they're losing their minds over it. I don't even know how realistic this is for baseball to even legitimately consider.
Yeah. I don't know how to do it because then the strategy's gone. You can't play matchups. I know. I think the whole thing is kind of it's a mess.
I just want to know why. Why did you guys feel like this has to be a possible implementation?
It's two things. I think it's MLB trying to get rid of the starter the starter, the bullpen game, and two, they're trying to force the change in how you pitch all the way back down the system to say, well, you got to go 6, so you better stretch yourself out so you can go 6. You can't throw 102 for 4 innings anymore. You got to throw 95 for 6. Figure it out. Let's change the way we pitch. So they're trying to basically point at the max effort guys, going, hey, you've got to learn how to throw more than 4 2/3.
Do you think this will increase injury or decrease it then? If they have to dial it back and pace themselves out, do you think it would increase the injury or decrease?
I don't think it. I mean, it should decrease injuries. I mean, if you're not throwing 102 every single pitch and you're dialing it back and actually trying to pitch, it should help and reduce the strain on the arm. But you're also gonna try to stretch guys deeper, which may or may not be a good thing. And I love this point by AJ in the chat. It's true. I mean, the front offices and the MLB front office is full of Ivy League educated economists. These aren't baseball people making these decisions. They're looking at numbers on the spreadsheet and making the decision versus actually watching the game.
Yeah. So
I would be curious to see, I'll try and do some digging, to try and find out some actual numbers. The max effort guys, I think, on the surface, it sounds like that these are kind of the starting pitchers that are being targeted on here. But I don't know, you still need 3 strikes for a strikeout. And until the philosophy of pitching switches, I don't know how much difference you're going to get. Okay, so we're not maxing out on fastballs every time we throw a fastball. We're kind of dialing that back in the first or second inning. Okay, fine. But is our goal still 5-6 pitches in an at bat to strike a guy out? Because if that's the case, it's really not going to change anything.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You're still going to have the guys that go for swings and misses and nibble and try to miss bats are still going to do you're not going to change much. No. Until the philosophy changes. Be okay, we're just going to pound the strike zone and make guys put balls in play. 2 pitch at bats, 3 pitch at bats are going to be until the philosophy changes fully to like I don't know how this changes much.
Yeah, I mean, managers take their pitchers out anyways in these three scenarios. Usually it's like the four,
Yeah.
once they've given up that fourth run, it's like, okay, three, they usually leave them in depending on what the score is. Like 3-1 ball game, you're probably leaving your starter in, right? You're not
But you give
yanking
up
him.
you give up three in the so you give up 3 runs in the first 6 batters of the game. You can't come out of the game yet. Like you got to stay in.
Right. But I mean, typically that's what happens anyways. Like, because they try to, lengthen your start so you don't have to burn your bullpen in the first inning.
Yeah,
But,
it's just taking the choice out of it. Now you have to leave him in.
right. Yeah.
Now it's not like a do I or don't I. It's like I don't have a choice until he gives up that fourth run. I got no moves.
I mean, we like Sean said, we probably just talked about it for 20 minutes and it's not even going to happen. But it's I just want to know where it came from. That's all.
So here's a question. So you've got a guy who's given up 3 earned runs and he's in the second inning. Like, when do you get the bullpen up? Like, because you don't know when that fourth run is going to come and you can take him out. So you're like, how do you plan for a bullpen arm when a guy's having a crappy night? Like, maybe all of a sudden he gets on a heater for an inning, a third, and you're like, oh great, well I don't need a bullpen arm. Then he blows up again. You got nobody ready because like you're trying to play this game of like, should I, shouldn't I, when might it happen? Like it's so dumb.
Yeah,
it's just so dumb.